Anyway, so how's your week been? Oh God.
Not much has happened. Um,
Uh-huh.
although I kind of had an epiphany this morning and
Uh-huh.
thought about something that happened this weekend. So my nephew is always like, "Oh, look how tall I am! I'm taller than you now." Blah blah blah. He's 13,
Yeah, yeah,
and now he's taller than me. He thinks he's so cool. And I was like, "Well, let's see how tall you are." So we got a measuring tape.
yeah,
So he is 5'8", and I'm like, there's no way because I'm 5'8".
yeah. I think I'm
I
also
measured him, okay, and I was like, well, measure me.
yeah.
I'm 5'7".
Oh, 5'7", okay. Uh-huh.
5'7". No, what this means is I have shrunk. I
You've
have
done
shrunk.
one, is it something? How many inches? 1 inch? Or
Well,
what?
so and then I was thinking, well, how could I have shrunk that much, like over an inch, like an inch and 3/4? Because
Yeah,
I was like 5'8 and 3/4.
yeah.
But then I thought about it this morning
Yeah.
because you can't shrink that much at
Mm-hmm.
this time.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh no, I think I may have been one of those people that moved myself up because why would I not have said I was 5'9" with 5'8 and 3/4? So
Yeah.
I think I was only 5'7 and 3/4 and claimed the 5'8".
Yeah.
So shame on me, but I have shrunk and I am 5'7" now. Oh my God.
Yeah, I think no, no. Normally what happens? I think I'm 5'8", but I'm not really 5'8". I am 5'7" and something. It's not exactly 5'8". It's 5'7" and something. But when someone asks me, I just say 5'8", because now do I start saying 5'7" and something? Like I'm 5'8",
Right, right,
because it's
right.
the
So,
nearest. Yeah.
ugh. So that was a little hard pill to swallow.
I think we made.
And
I
my
think if
son is
yeah.
five, almost. My son is. I don't remember what he is. He's almost 5'6".
Yeah, I mean,
He's 5'5" something.
unless I was trying to be a model, I don't mind being short.
You know, I used to hate being tall, and then I
Yeah.
embraced it. And when I embraced it, now I'm getting short.
You'll be five
The
five.
grass is not always greener on the other side, y'all.
Soon you'll be 5'5".
No.
I mean, I think that's where it's going based on this recent thing that has happened. Anyway, height. But anyway, you can also stimulate the growth hormone.
Well, I mean, I don't want to be like, I don't want to be any taller. Like,
Yeah.
I just don't want to be 5'5". Nothing wrong with anybody being 5'5". But when you go this way, that means you're going to start going more that way. And
Yeah.
I don't need to go more that way.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh,
Okay. Yeah, I don't know
sorry.
what happened there. Yeah,
Someone came.
I get what you're saying. But ultimately, the things you just have to accept, and that is height is one of them. And I
Yeah,
think,
but when you've been living a life of lie that you
yeah,
fed yourself
that you are taller than you are.
and started believing.
Start believing your own lies. I mean, that's the thing, right? We believe our own lies to a point where when the truth comes out, you're like, no, no, So,
Oh,
there's a
so
lesson
that
there.
was my week. And that only started because my best friend had went to a doctor's appointment and they actually took her height because it was like a bone density thing because she has some calcium issues
Yeah.
and she learned she shrunk. And I was like,
What?
really?
She
Huh?
learned what?
Some bone density. issues. So she's had to supplement with calcium. So they had to do a bone density test to make sure everything was good, and it is.
Uh,
But they had to check her height before they did that. And
yeah,
so it was through her that I learned like she lost like an inch or so, like half an inch or an inch as
yeah.
well. So that's how that all came about.
All right. So this
Yeah,
is I've just asked ChatGPT why would an adult shrink in height, and it says there is one compression could be the compression of the spine.
right.
The disc in the spine can become compressed over time, leading to a slight decrease in height. The disc act as cushions between the vertebra, and with age, they can lose moisture and elasticity, causing them to shrink. The other one is loss of bone density. As people age, they may experience loss of bone density, which can lead to osteoporosis.
Yes.
This weakening of the bones, especially in the spine, can result in vertebral fractures or slight stooping postures, both which can reduce height. Then number three, posture changes. As muscles and ligaments weaken with age, it can affect posture. Poor posture can slouching, developing forward, whatever that one. Then
See, that
joint
would be my mom.
changes. Sorry.
That would be my mom. She has bad posture because
Uh,
in her later age she doesn't do much, and so she's lost that core strength, and so to sit up straight and to be up straight is difficult for her. So
uh,
posture is not my thing. But you know what? I just thought about it because I have a degenerative disc in my back.
yeah.
That's been a birth defect, but I didn't start having problems with till I was in my 30s.
Yeah.
So that might be it.
Yeah. Oh, that
We're gonna
could be.
blame that, not age.
Anyway, as long as it's not something bad, it's just height. But as I said, I think this is something you have to accept yourself. There are things we cannot change, like height, right? And it's sad, like, when you judge someone based on their height, oh, you're too short, especially that is men. I think for men, being tall is important as compared to,
Yeah, but all the tall men are dating all the short girls. Those
yeah,
are facts.
yeah. So they would not
I
tell.
have yet to have like a tall man be like, "Hey, honey." No, they've been at least my height or shorter.
Oh, yeah. So the tall men are not going for
They're going for the shorties,
not
so
going for
that's why
tall.
I'm hating. I'm jealous.
Tall men don't go for tall women. That's what you're saying.
No, not typically. I haven't found it yet anyway. Not to say they're not out there because they are.
Of
They just have not swung my way yet.
guys, yeah. Please like the live. I'm trying to like the live. Then I actually accidentally sent um an invite to
Request.
someone. I don't know who that is. Yeah. Anyway, yeah. Anyway, so that happened. So it's fine. Um. Alrighty. So yeah, we can start now. So the week you said nothing really happened.
No, our weather warmed up. So we went from snow to in the 60s, going to be low 70s at some point. Crazy weather.
Yeah,
But yeah, nothing else really has happened this week. I mean, how
yeah.
about you?
I mean, it's just Wednesday. Normally, if we did this
Yeah.
live on Friday, there's a lot more. But yeah, so nothing really. Yeah, nothing that I can think about that was actually very worth talking about. Um, but yeah, but I think the thing that I'm actually really interested in, like, which is totally not on this topic, that I've been following up, two things. The first one is the story of Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni. That one I'm absolutely following up. Like, I'm like waiting for the next video coming out. I'm like listening, because at first I was like, why would Justin do this? I've not watched the movie. I probably will not watch the movie. But then I saw that because there's this guy I follow who's called Be Better, Be on TikTok, BEE Better. I like him. So I listened to him. So he came up with this story and was like, oh, this sounds very interesting. Let me listen. Let me listen. And then I got hooked to that story. And then I was like, why would he do this? Oh my God. Then later on, I'm like, why would she do this? And then now I'm like, why would the husband do this? This is so crazy. I'm like, hey.
Yeah,
I'm
it's
like, this
all
is
over the
drama.
place.
Eh?
Not intentional, I would not think. I would hope not. I don't know. I mean, because it's making them both look bad,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
that sucks. So I like both of them as actors. Um,
I
so
like
it's
the
unfortunate that whatever's happening is happening.
yeah, I like the guy better. I find him funny. Now that that has happened, I think I'm going to look at him in a different way. There is nothing as worse. I feel like as a human being, like bullying other people. I don't like that. Like being a bully, making other people's lives hard. Why those are why, meaning there are
Yeah,
issues that you need to deal with yourself if you're bullying other people. So I mean the whole thing just reveals, like, like, don't jump too quickly into making assumptions about people and situations.
yeah,
Like, take time to just see both sides of the story.
exactly.
Yeah,
That's anything this has taught us. That's what that's taught us.
yeah,
Both
and
sides of the story.
yeah, and decisions you make out of protecting your ego, or no, like massaging your ego, or trying to put yourself in spaces to show that I'm better than you. Those things, anything that is ego led eventually does lead to some sort of humiliation. And when I talk about this humiliation bit, reminds me of something I had. I was listening to a certain video, and this person said, you'd rather deal with an ignorant person than an arrogant person. An ignorant person can be educated, and they can be like, okay, this makes sense. But an arrogant person who does not want to listen to your side of the story, does not want to listen to you, wants to impose himself or herself in situations to seem like they are better than you. An arrogant person, the only thing that is going to that's gonna happen to them that will make them see the other side of the story is by being humiliated. And the price to pay for being arrogant is humiliation. That is
Yeah,
what will happen to the arrogant and that is actually what is happening to Blake and her husband, Rainwell.
yeah.
It's crazy. It's crazy. All this is crazy and reminds me again. I think like this week has just been a week for me of me gossip stuff, because I'm not a fan of that. I'm not a fan of reality TV or celebrity gossip. I'm not. But yesterday my friend was doing my hair, my neighbor, right? So I was at my neighbor's place, she doing my hair. So like, what can we watch to just pass the time? Something that is not, that will not make us think too much, something that is low effort. Uh,
Right,
yeah, we didn't want to put effort
right.
in choosing. So we're like, let's watch a reality show, and it's called Young, Famous and African. Yeah, Young, Famous and African. So this like has some of the celebrities. And we are watching that, and you're like, oh my God, people make such decisions. Like, it's so weird. And like, do these people know they're being filmed? Those kind of questions come up. With reality, I think it's just that question: do these people know they are being filmed, or is it that reality is stranger than fiction? You know?
No, they know they're being filmed. It is all filmed. I
Yeah,
mean, even the stuff that we love here that is on, it's all for that. I mean, it's no different than people on this app doing things to rage bait you to like and make comments and make their stuff go viral.
true,
I
true.
mean,
Absolutely.
it's the same thing.
I get it, and I get what you're saying. It's more of like scripted, like put some drama into
There's
this.
some script, yes.
Yeah, there is some script. I want to believe there is some script, but I also want to believe that when there's a camera in front of you, like you change, your behavior becomes even more. If you are a bit aggressive, a tad bit aggressive, you become even more aggressive. Like it kind of like inflates the behaviors that exist. I mean, that's what I think.
Well,
And
also the editors will edit toward the drama.
oh yeah,
So they may not show all your high points, but they'll show your low points. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? If it fits the narrative they're trying to sell. So you have to remember that too. I mean, because who wants to just watch people being all lovey dovey just 24/7? There's,
yeah,
they've got to put some spice in there and mix it up a little bit.
yeah, true. And it's
So, yeah.
crazy, crazy how. And I saw someone tweet this like beauty is beautiful, um, but now the things that are actually gaining traction are ugly things, or behaviors that are absolutely diabolical. Not like if I was doing something as normal as just no, like I don't know, be washing a car and just those activities, and then there's someone else who's doing something like crazy, like those videos we see where people are like, oh, today I'm gonna be with like 100 men or something. Those ones are actually gaining a lot of traction. So crazy
Yeah.
stuff, ugly behavior is gaining traction on social media as compared to behavior that should be praised. So and that's the thing. Like, why do people say, "Oh, beauty is beautiful," but then we are busy feeding the monster of ugly behavior? So that was something that also came up during the week, and the same thing, right? Gossip, reality TV is popular, right? It's popular because it's entertaining. There is gossip, there is drama, right? And people love that. But if you give people educational topics, they are bored with that already. If you try to get into something that is, um, about them, letting them think or do some sort of action that's going to be self improvement, no one is interested. But if you are half naked doing stuff, people are like, yay, now I'm interested, it's crazy.
Well, also, if you're involved in somebody else's drama, then you don't have to focus on yourself and your own issues,
Oh yeah,
right?
yeah,
So, sometimes that is the escape from reality.
yeah,
And not that I really think a lot of people intentionally go in with that idea, but that is the reason. Like, if we start questioning and being
yeah,
curious about ourselves, that's what I would do is why am I so drawn to this? What is it about this that I'm doing this? Why I used to watch soap operas, and I would tell you it's because you know what? I can fast forward it, I can rewind it, I can stop it, I can pause it whenever I want. That's all the drama I want in my life. I don't want any other drama in my life. That is it, because I can control that, right?
yeah,
So I think that's some of the others. But when you're getting lost in it, that you're not doing for yourself and doing self care for yourself in like important ways, because what you resist will persist. So if you're not dealing with those issues, they're still going to show the ugly head. Hi,
yeah.
Faith.
Thank you, Ella. Thank you, Faith. Hi, how are you doing? So yeah, absolutely. The reason why we're interested in those things, yeah, I guess because our lives are probably boring. But then, boring. What is boring? Because I say life is probably boring. It's not me in like boring life is what we hope is like, oh, me in a private jet, I'm in Cape Town, the next time I'm in Paris, the next time I'm in Luxembourg, wherever. That is now fun life. And people, that's what they want. And if someone else is living that kind of life, it's more of like living vicariously through them, right? So you're watching
Yeah,
that, wishing, wanting. Uh,
right.
yeah, but if you do too much of that, obviously you forget about your own life and working on your own life. So there is also a bad side to that. Um, there's
Well,
also
you
about.
know,
Mhm.
growing up in the military, a lot of people are like, oh, you're so lucky. And as an adult, I realized how lucky I was that I got to go to the countries I went to and experienced all the things I experienced. As an adult, I understand that. As a
Yeah.
child, I would have told you I hated it. I envied all the kids that grew up in the same town, had their best friends since kindergarten, because that's what I wanted. I never had that. And I
Mm,
was always jealous when I went to a town, especially when I came back stateside and saw these children,
mm,
and, my peers that had
mm,
that I
mm,
wanted so bad. And
mm.
I did not appreciate any of this
Yeah.
until I was older. I
Yeah.
could not understand that.
Yeah, I think in retrospect, when you look at your life in retrospect, things start making sense. When you are living the pain, like when you are in the pain, it doesn't make sense. There's a lot of crying. There's a lot of I wish things would change. I wish it was different, and I have a lot of those sometimes. And you go through a period of like, why is it like this? Why are things not working out? Why, there's a lot of that. But then after you pass through that, you're in the next chapter. You're like, you look back and you're like, you know what, that had to happen, because if it didn't happen, I would not have learned the
Right.
lessons I learned. I would not have met the people I met. So you,
Yes.
yeah, it's hard. I know for a fact it's hard
Yes.
to trust the process.
Especially when you have children involved.
Oh
So,
yeah.
because I was speaking as a child, and now that I have a child, having to explain why things happen,
Mm,
it's tough.
mm,
And it's important to be there for your children to help them understand that. And I don't know that I really even talked to my parents about it. I think I just had the normal, oh, I don't want to move because it's a new school. I'm going to have to meet new kids. And back in the day, I don't know if they still do it,
yeah.
but they'd bring you to the front of the class and like shine you bright like a diamond and be like, hey, introduce yourself, tell us something about you. And I'm like, no, I don't want to.
Yeah.
Because, I also received hate for that. An example of that is when my dad's father passed away. So we were in Japan at the time, and so we flew back to the States for his funeral and everything, and we stayed. I think it was like a month or more. So, and it was during a school year. So it's not like it is today that you can kind of switch things up. So I had to get enrolled in a school there for that month or whatever.
Mm,
And it was horrible. It
mm,
was like a little private school or whatever. And yeah, I remember having to get up and they're like, oh, Kim's just visiting us from Japan. And they're like, you don't look Japanese. Well, I'm not. I
yeah.
mean,
Yeah. Yeah.
um, and then they're like, oh, can you speak Japanese to us? Can you do this? And then, on the playground, I get hate, about, oh, she thinks she's better than us because she lives overseas. And I was like, the only reason I'm there is because my dad's in the military. We're not rich. We're not, but their perception of me was that, oh, I must have some kind of money because I live there. No, it's my dad's job that brought us there.
Yeah.
And
Mm,
so it was just, went home with you know, a lot of frustrations in
mm,
that and confusion and not understanding like, why are they being so mean to me?
yeah.
Because I was only in the second grade when that happened.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, um, it's hard.
Yeah, absolutely. Hi Miki, habari ya jioni. How are you doing? Mzuri sana. Yeah, so to be honest, it's when you are going through when you are in grade 2 at that particular time, right? And people are doing that, you could not understand why, right? You could not understand why this is happening.
Right, right.
But now you are like, it was worth it.
Yeah,
It was worth it.
yeah, yeah. Like I get it now and I understand why they did because they were projecting their own feelings because I was doing something that they were not and
Able.
was out of their norm. And little did they know is that at that time, I
Mm,
envied them for being there in one place with their family and their friends. And they
yeah.
have no idea. So
Yeah.
for me, I think that's why at that time it hurt me more because I'm like, you're so lucky. Because for me,
Mm,
this was my life, and I was used to getting up and moving every two
yeah.
years or whatever.
Yeah.
Um, and so I was, it to me, it was not a big deal. I didn't understand why people made a big deal of it. I was wanting to be in one place with my family because that's also what I missed out, my grandparents and my aunts and
Yeah.
uncles, because we were overseas all the time.
Yeah.
And so I never got any of that, and I missed out. But I can see how they felt about me because while they lived in one place, getting to the go to these other places, these exotic places seemed like wow, so cool. And so, gosh darn it, if we only knew better and got together and talked about it, would have
Yeah.
realized.
Absolutely. I mean, again, I think there is something Faith said here. Like when you live life, you learn, become stronger.
Yes,
I mean, there are lessons there. I mean, there are
yes,
lessons there. And lessons obviously have to be internalized because sometimes we forget the lessons we learn as human beings. We are like, very fast.
yes,
Like something happens, we've already forgotten. And that, I feel like the internalization of the lesson is more of like, yeah, when, for example, you're going through a hard time, it's more of saying, I've been through hard times before, right? And I've gone through them and I've actually been grateful that they happened. So this particular time that I'm going through is something that I am going to be grateful later that it actually happened because there's a reason.
right,
I cannot see this now, but I trust the universe that all happens for my good. Everything is happening for my good. At the end of that painful period, I will look back and I will say, wow, amazing. So again, internalization of lessons is important because if
yeah.
you don't internalize the lessons, means at the end of the day you will continue suffering, right? You will
When
continue
you
suffering.
continue repeating those same things over and over.
Yeah. And I think one of the things you mentioned there was the aspect of projection, which is a big deal. Like when we project, when people project to us their own insecurities, is something that also we need to be aware of. When someone tells you something that is false, what you need to do is to think to yourself like this person is actually saying, oh, you are like this because they themselves are like the way they are saying you are. So sometimes when you are
Yeah,
accused falsely, when people say false things, important for you to take a step back and be like, yeah, they are going through something and it's actually not about me. um
yes.
yeah, so and obviously there will always be people envying your life, right? Yeah, your life is better,
Hmm.
but they don't know also in your life there's struggles you are going through and you
Yep.
and you wish you had things easy. And that reminds me of, I think, I don't know who said this, like if people were to stand in a room and throw their problems up, so you pick someone else's problem, you probably be like, you open it and you're like, okay, please give me my problems.
Right, right,
I don't want these other people's problems. Where are my problems? I want my problems. So
right. Because everybody always shows you their highlight reels and never their behind the scenes.
ah,
And
true.
so you have to take that and just be curious when people are behaving and not so healthy manners towards you or around you.
Yeah,
Like be curious about the why, what's happening.
yeah, yeah,
Why might they be behaving that way before jumping in and adding gasoline to the fire and then having this big
yeah,
whoosh blowout, right?
yeah.
Don't do that.
It's so difficult because I know nowadays people struggle with, a lot of people, you scroll on social media, especially Twitter, X, you'll see there's a lot of lack of emotional regulation, like self-regulation,
Oh
regulating my
yeah.
feelings before I go and put it on someone else. That is
Yep.
lacking. So it's lacking so much that the first feelings you have, you quickly take your camera and you record and you share with others. And that is a problem because
Yep.
you are burdening others with your emotions when you are supposed to actually deal with them. And if you need help, obviously you can reach out to someone else. but ultimately self-regulation is important as an adult. Same thing, if you don't self-regulate, again, to the children, still affects your children because now you'll be pardoning them.
Right, because they emulate what they see before
Yeah,
they emulate what they hear.
yeah, absolutely.
So very important. And when you're behaving in such a manner, even when you're out in public, that's all people know of you is the
Mm,
way you're behaving.
mm,
So, we need to check ourselves. I'm not saying walk on eggshells, but check
yeah,
yourself.
yeah,
And, because we are also teaching our children these behaviors,
yeah, yeah,
and they're already having difficulty regulating their emotions and learning about their emotions. And
yeah.
if we're reacting in this way, because remember, when you're reacting, you're not in charge, someone else is.
Yes, true.
So then they are learning to react. And so you're
Yeah.
passing on these negative traits to
Mm,
your children, who are then going to grow up and repeat the same thing.
the same things because they are learning from me. They're like a sponge, absorbing everything that's happening. So if this is how I'm supposed to regulate my emotions, I'm supposed to be
Right.
shouting, throw things.
Right.
I'm like, okay, so this is how we do
Yes.
self-regulation. This is what I'm gonna be doing to other people.
Hmm.
So yeah, so self-regulation as an adult, alt very important. It will help you deal with the people you are living with. It will help you deal with other people you probably are working with. So absolutely important that you learn how to self-regulate, um, so you
But
don't.
also to remember, as a parent, not to expect how you would react to something for your child to react that. Because remember, you're older, you have many more years ahead of them. And
Yeah,
so expecting you out of your children is not healthy either. You have to
yeah,
meet your child where they're at. I'm not
yeah,
saying, oh, you just let them do whatever. No, but you have to come down to their level, because they're at a different level than you are. So to help them
absolutely.
understand and go through and resolve those big emotions that they're having.
And I think it's not even about also your children, even adults, even in the offices. Like you'll meet people who have no idea about regulating their emotions, and you might be quick to judge them or react to the situation, but again, step back, look at that situation so that you don't react, because the moment you both are reacting, it's over for you. So again,
Right,
even same adults, you don't expect them to be in the same level as you when it comes to self-regulation. So otherwise you'll end up
right,
fighting with people, blah blah blah. And one of the things I've learned is the past month is silence is golden. You do not have to respond to everything. You do not
right.
have to get into every situation. Oh, what is happening here? What is happening here? What is happening there? None of your business. And
Exactly.
just maintain your silence and say like this, let your words be so rare that people actually want you to speak rather than just, yeah, because not gonna help anyone.
Saying stuff to say stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So that
that
that is
is
a
very true. See,
mhm.
that's what I tell people. Because I like what you're saying there. Because when I was working as a therapist, that's what I would always share with my clients was, it's okay to say, I need a moment. If
Mm,
somebody's asking or saying something, and you feel rattled, flustered, or you just honestly need a minute, you can say, I need a minute. That is your right. That is your boundary to establish and to
yeah.
let others know what's
Mhm.
going on.
Yeah.
So, and after that moment, if you have nothing to say, just like, yeah, well, okay, it is
Mm,
what it is. Or, just, whatever. You have that right. You don't have to. And if somebody's at you like, give me an answer, give me an answer, that's about them. That's not about you. You have a right to say, can you please, I need 5 minutes. You don't
mm,
even have to ask their permission. I need 5 minutes. And
mm,
and this is what I try and tell my son, because he gets easily flustered on easy yes or no questions. And
mm.
it's just how his mind works. And then he'll end up getting mad and upset and yelling. And I say, honey, that is not okay.
Yeah.
If you need a moment to think about it, then think about it. We're not taking 30 minutes to answer this, but if you need 5 minutes to think about it, you say, Mom, can you give me 5 minutes, please?
Yeah.
I'd rather you say that than exploding and acting irrationally to something that you just needed to verbally communicate to me
Yeah.
on your needs.
All right. Yeah, absolutely. Makes sense. All right. That's amazing. I love that. Self-regulation take time when you're angry. When you're emotional, just count at least 1 to 10 to just
Yeah.
chill. I've seen that too on people who have control over situations. They don't speak, they take their time. So they end up in situations that they're, because every time you argue with someone, you just lose that. Like you lose yourself and you get out of that situation feeling like your energy is gone.
Well, and if you're finding out, well, if somebody is arguing and it's escalating, so they're no longer, attached with their upstairs brain, which is where we do our decision making and
Yeah.
thinking and all that stuff. They've gone down here into survival mode. And if they're here, there's a disconnect between your downstairs brain and your upstairs brain. So there's no reasoning, there's no decision makers. You have to wait till they come back here to have a conversation with them. And that's what I was talking about earlier, because if they flip their lid and they're in survival mode, freeze, fight, or flight, and then you start engaging, you're starting to get upset. And when you start to get upset, you're going to meet them right there. And it's just a clash. Nothing can be done
Nothing
because
can.
y'all just trying to survive the moment. Even
Yeah.
if it's like a petty little argument,
Mm,
it's going to be, nothing's going to get resolved during this time till both of you reconnect with your prefrontal cortex.
absolutely. All right. Thank you so much. So let's go to the questions.
Yes.
So we have, okay. Is it reasonable to have phones out of the room at bedtime? I'm struggling with my 13-year-old who has been sneaking up after bedtime, 9:30 on school nights to play her screens and phone. I recently implemented a rule that all the screens needed to come out of the room at bedtime, but let her keep her iPhone, which I'd put parental controls on. Now I find that her screen time log shows that she bypassed the parental controls somehow and has been racking up hours of TikTok and YouTube until 3 a.m. My simple question, is it reasonable to make the 13-year-old put phones out of the room at bedtime? I would get her an alarm clock instead. It seems reasonable for me, but she says I'm too strict and that is draconian and unreasonable.
No, I have a 13-year-old.
Yeah.
My best friend has a 13-year-old. My brother has a 13-year-old. We all take phones away at night. The phone, oh, bless you. Phones are not in their room. Matter of fact, my son's phone comes into my room at night, and I trust him. He's a great kid. But they're at that age of that temptation and feeding that need that you are the parent and you need to teach them to regulate.
Yeah.
And to not feed in. They don't need those dopamine hits, at night and the late. And she's already proven, or he, I don't know if it's a she or he, they're already proving that they cannot put down that phone and they need to be regulated. No 13-year-olds should be up till 3 o'clock in the morning scrolling on social media.
Yeah, true.
That's not healthy for them because they're not sleeping. They have to get up and go to school.
Yeah.
That's messing with their circadian rhythm, which is a cause a whole other ball game of issues for you guys.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Call me draconian or dracadian, whatever you want to say. I am. Call me that. I don't care. Remember, we're not here to be their friends. We're here to be their parents.
Yeah.
Okay? You can't always get what you want. And there's a song out. You can't always get what you want. Right? And that's in life. That is so true.
Yeah.
And you have to start teaching them at this age that there are rules to follow as they are in life.
Yeah, absolutely. Draconian, wherever 3 a.m., I would probably just take the phone for a while. Like, Yeah. So I
Yeah.
think here need because she bypass. Like we agreed, it's just 1 hour. Then why are you bypassing? Like that to me is just a sign that I
And,
you
and
need
and
to
my
stand
son does
back.
not have social media either.
Mm,
So he's not on TikTok or anything else. The most he goes is on the Tube of the U. And he's usually looking up art stuff on
yeah,
there
yeah,
because I look it up.
yeah,
Um, but that's what he does on there because I do go through his phone. I
yeah,
do see what he's looking at.
yeah. Okay. All right.
I have to. So
Yeah. So the second question is, does your teen have to attend your parties? Your parties. If you are hosting a party for your adult friends who also bring their children, do you force your teen to stay home for the party? Letting my teen attend a different Super Bowl party while we host our own Super Bowl party, and one of my friends is giving me shit for it, basically saying that my teen should be home for our party. What do you think? I never know what's right anymore. I feel like I'm questioning every parenting decision lately. Maybe I'm too permissive. Maybe I just do what works for my family and ignore all other opinions.
the last part of what she said, you have to do what's right for you.
Yeah.
It's not like an anniversary party, a christening. It's a Super Bowl party. Come
Yeah.
on,
Yeah.
like seriously. And if other people have a problem with it, that's fine. They're not the parents.
Mm,
Ultimately, that is yours. And if she's going to a different Super Bowl party, like I don't see this is not some big national holiday or something that we would, like say per se Christmas, where it's customary, at least here in the States, to be with your family and to spend time with them.
mm,
So that to me, I would have more of an issue with them going over, spend the night with somebody else and waking up with somebody else on Christmas morning.
yeah.
But Super Bowl, eh, eh, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah, it doesn't
My
have.
question is why is this parent questioning themselves so much?
Yeah,
That ooh,
I wonder
like stop it.
there has to be something something there, right? I don't know.
I mean,
Why would you question yourself? Why would you question what you're doing at
I
your
mean, just lack of confidence, or I mean,
yeah.
maybe maybe she tends to be more passive, and maybe there's some past trauma that she hasn't healed. Um, you know, but under also understanding boundaries. There, it sounds like a bit of a lack of boundaries because you're putting somebody else's needs above that of your own.
Yeah,
So when you put somebody's opinion over that of your own, you've given over your personal power. You should never do that.
absolutely
Never, ever, ever.
true. I mean,
And I don't mean like we were talking about, being egotistical or, in yourself, nothing like that. But this is my family. This is the way we are, and it's okay.
yeah.
People that are given over that advice are given unsolicited advice which
Mhm.
means you didn't ask for it. And sometimes you need to be like, that's cool that you think that, but this is what we do in my household,
Mm,
and leave it at that.
absolutely, I agree with
Because
that.
if you not have not opened up your communication with them and let them know they're stepping over a line, they're going to keep giving you all this unsolicited advice that you didn't ask for.
Yeah, yeah, true.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't think that's a big deal. Like going to the Super Bowl party, like, yeah, don't have to. Anyway, so the last one. Okay, this is when do you when do you lock up the liquor? Do you think it's necessary to hide the liquor? We aren't big drinkers, but we do have a wine fridge in the kitchen and a bar in the basement where my 14-year-old hangs with our friends. That's really good, innocent for their age. They are really good, innocent for their age, honors kids, but I'm also not a fool. When I was 13, we used to drink parents' liquor and refill the bottles with water. My husband, on the other hand, thinks I'm nuts and are hiding it unnecessarily. He was a goody goody and a rule follower as a teen. I was not. What prompted me to ask this was today my daughter decided to make penela, penne alla vodka while I was at work and used vodka for the recipe. Yeah. put my life.
Uh, so I feel if you're having doubts, put yourself out of doubt, lock it up. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's that simple.
Yeah.
Whether your kid is not, because even if your kid will not do that, you're bringing other children into here who you don't know like your kid. That could, peer pressure happens a lot at this age.
Yeah.
So when in doubt, lock it up. It's
Yeah.
that easy. It's not a big deal, honestly. Um, but it would be the smart thing, because what happens is if they are there and they are, and here in the States, it is.
Mm.
So lock it up,
Yeah.
because I don't know about you, but I'm too cute to go to jail. And no,
Yeah.
not going to happen.
Yeah, so it's more like putting temptation away. Like if something is
Right.
tempting, alcohol, I don't know, screens, whatever you feel like is tempting is gonna tempt them. Yeah, trust them, they are good, they are innocent, but you don't want to put that temptation in front of them. So just lock it up, put the key away.
Mm-hmm.
And how the hell is she making vodka at 14? This is interesting.
Is it a pasta dish? Because even with a pasta dish, because there is a vodka pasta dish, I would still have problems with, because you are not of age. You shouldn't be handling that. An
Yeah,
adult should be with you to do it, because the alcohol does burn off in that pasta.
yeah,
But you should not be handling that,
it's crazy.
because again, you have to be 21 to buy it. It should not be in your hands. And that's just me. Should not be in your hands.
Wow. Okay.
So
That's
my son had offered to carry something for me, and it was, some liquor. I was like, no. And he's like, oh, Mom, it's just, I'm like, no, because you're not 21. You shouldn't even be, even to help me, you shouldn't be doing that.
yeah,
Take my other bags or whatever. I will take care of this.
yeah, true, true.
So I do that with my own son.
I agree 100% all that with you. Yeah, temptations away. Yeah, even touching. It's more touching. I mean, even seeing, like, I'm like, if it's hidden in somewhere. I mean, when you have children, you have to, like, sometimes you have to be certain way, like, you know, see, touch, feel all these things. Like, see.
But
See
it's
your
also
ego.
good
Yeah,
to
no,
not have your kid live in a bubble either, because even if you're not doing this at home, they go to school, they're hearing from other children, and the things that I hear that they talk about, I mean, middle school, even like, fifth, fourth, sixth grade, is
yeah.
crazy. So it's important that you do have these conversations. Having these conversations are not going to make them go out and do it, but curiosity and
Mm,
what is this like, is more likely to have them go out and try something.
okay, all right.
So
Makes
speak
sense.
to your children.
Absolutely. Yeah, be open about those things. All right.
Rather them hear it from you than their peers who don't know any more than you do.
Absolutely. Yeah, true.
Right.
Yeah. So that's it. Any other thing I need to add? Um, Something I'm looking forward to is Friday. We are going to have an expose, a very good expose on Friday from on the French president Macron and his wife Brigitte.
Ooh.
I'm excited.
Ooh. Are you being sassy with me, or are you for real?
I'm serious. I'll send you the link when it comes out. It's
Okay.
like a whole story about trans stuff. I don't know. Let's see. This world is full of crazy stuff, and I feel like you don't even have to watch reality TV. Reality is
It's happening.
entertaining. Yeah, even looking at what is happening in the US with Trump cutting off AIDS. There's the ICE making arrests of illegals. There's so much
It,
happening, and I'm
it,
like, eh.
it's a hot mess over here right now. It's oof. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Ultimately, I say this. I, for one, would love to be in the US. Would love to, but I would never break rules to get into another person's country. I respect rules of a country. I'm not gonna go to the border, fucking walls my way in and not face the consequences.
But let's revert this to parenthood. It's like we say, if you allow children to do certain behaviors, because they're going to push buttons, see what they can and cannot get away with. And if you accept those behaviors, they're going to continue doing them.
Uh,
So the issue that we have going on right now is the same thing, is
yeah.
because the U.S. has really not sanctioned these illegal immigrants coming over, and so because we have not really done anything about it, it's
Mm.
continued to happen, and it's balled up to what it is now. And right now, our government's like, no, let's wipe it all away, and
Clean
it's kind
slates.
of harsh to think because you have let this. Is there not a way of easing that and making these rules, for future? I don't know. I feel
Yeah,
like there's a better way that could go about it, because it's kind of like telling your kids, oh, you're so wrong for doing this,
but you let
but
them.
yet you allowed me to do this for so long, right?
I
You
get
allowed
your
me to take
point.
over and to step over these boundaries, and now you're just like, oh, here and go.
Yeah, I absolutely, yeah, I get your point. And that is the thing, like in this life, when you, again, when you make wrong decisions, just know there are going to be consequences and be ready for those consequences. Maybe they will not get to you in a certain way, but they will eventually get to you somehow at the end of the day. Even if there are people who are enabling bad behavior, who exist, enablers exist. There are so many enablers in this world.
Yes.
Yeah, your life is your own, your decisions are your own, your choices are your own, and ultimately they might catch up with you in one way or another.
The sad part is there's a lot of families and children that are being put into this, that children, like, they have no say,
Yeah.
and they're here because of whatever decisions their parents did. So I just think it could have went I just feel it could have went about a better way. There
Yeah.
had to have been a better way. I don't know. I'm not in charge of the country.
Yeah.
I just feel like there could have been a better way to do it. They've had so many years to implement plans and to stop this from continuing happening,
Yeah.
and they didn't. And now they're just going from like one extreme to the other. That's what I feel like. We went from
Yeah.
here to
To the
here, and there
other
was no in
extreme.
between.
Yeah,
And that's a
there's
problem.
no mercy. There's absolutely no mercy. Um,
No.
well, it is what it is. So anyway, let's see how that goes.
Yeah.
Can't do
Yeah.
much about it. Can talk about it, but can't do much about it. Anyway, so yeah,
Right. Right. Right.
thank you so much. Thank you everyone who joined. So talk to you next week, Thursday.
Thursday.
All right.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
All right. Thank you so much, Kim.
Thank you for having me.
Au revoir.
All right. Bye.